Hello, hoes. Quick bit of solo content because I had a 30th, forgot to organise a guest. I'm the guest, here's the solo content. You're welcome. So, to get straight into it, we get back into the workroom after Anita has left, and basically Karen says that she feels like she's frustrated she hasn't won. That is more or less a problem by being pre-known before a drag race, because you come in and everyone expects a level of you. If you don't hit that level, then it kind of feels like, oh, you're letting everyone down. So like, it's Karen has this issue, Art Simone has this issue, Joe Black had this issue. So they came in, everyone was shocked when they left or didn't do well. That's because they were pre-known. So I think it's almost better for people to come into the show relatively unknown, because then they actually get to live and thrive as a queen rather than living up to an expectation the viewers have of them before they get onto the show. And then moving on from that, we get into the mini challenge. It's pretty simple. It's basically RuPaul gives them clues to an animal. First clue, 5 points. Second clue, 3 points. And the last clue, I think, is 2 or 1 points. It's fun. It still uses like multiple men in underwear. They're all muscled. Bit of body diversity would not go amiss in Drag Race, but it's not exactly new. We know this is an issue. Pretty fun take on the underwear game, and pretty relevant to Down Under, so that was kind of fun. Who wins it? Maxi wins it. I guess a $2,000 gift card. Bitch to wear. Where she get it to? It just goes $2,000 gift card and then cuts out. So it must be like an Australian brand name, or a brand name that they can't afford to say on the show. But I was like, just say $2,000, don't say gift card, because then you're wondering where it's for, you know? But then, anyways, RuPaul introduces the Falcon rugby team, which is a queer rugby team from Melbourne, I believe it. Possibly. That's very akin to the Emerald Warriors, which is the Dublin queer rugby team. Similar to something like, say, the Bristol Bisons. You also have the Dublin Devils, which is the football team, and on Gael Airnock, which is the GA. So it's nice we're seeing this kind of sector of queer life be brought into Drag Race, because kindred spirits in that this is something we're not meant to do, quote, air quote, but we're still finding ways to do it amongst our own community. So I think it was nice to bring in the Falcon rugby team. They were all quite good to work with. I like that rugby build for both men and in drag. I think it's fun to play around with that dynamic. So because Maxi won, Maxi gets to assign the rugby players to each queen. Now, if I were to do it, I would just kind of say, right, this is what fate has decided, and let them all kind of straight away move across the board, and whoever you got is whoever you got. But basically, she doles them out fairly according to the girls, and she leaves the person to herself, the person with the beard, which is arguably one of the harder things to do, because although bearded queens are relatively new to the drag scene, question mark, it's still very doable. Like, there's successful queens who are bearded who do drag, like Lucy Stool in Chicago does it as bearded queen, and our own homegrown Lavender is bearded queen, so it can be done. I don't know why Maxi got this person to shave, especially knowing what we know at the end of the episode, because then it's kind of like, well, what was the point? It would have been easier on Maxi as well. You could have just cut the beard with like a nice highlight and then made a good contour, and then played around with that, like, oh, this is my bearded lady cousin, like that kind of campness to it. So yeah, I don't understand it, because then RuPaul brought up, what were you hiding behind the beard? Sweetie, what if he just likes the way he looks with the beard, you know? I'm sick of RuPaul doing that. Show us your vulnerable side. It's facial hair. It's not exactly an emotional shield, I'd hope. So then, getting straight into it, i.e. the runway, there's a bit of shade in the workroom, but nothing of worth, really. It's the same old. They're in corsets. They're like, ow. They're in heels. Can't walk. Ha ha ha. Very funny back and forth shade between people. Not much, basically. The only thing that really happens is Art Simone's daughter is a bit like left out in the cold, which is a bit mean to have her sitting there doing nothing. Now, it could have been production, but at the same time, it was kind of like, you kind of left her there. even if it was edited bad, the editors still need to have some sort of product to make bad, if that makes sense. So RuPaul comes out in this like stunning camel coloured snowsuit après ski moment for the lodge. Do I want to say the best she's ever looked? I think I do. It's so different to like the Zaldi gowns and the bodysuits. This was like a whole concept, head to toe, stunning. I want it. I cannot wait for AliExpress to have this because I'm buying it. It was stunning, so stunning. And then obviously the main category is drag family resemblance. First out is Keeda Amphetamine. This kind of, I think it was Cruella inspired because obviously the black and white whatever with the kind of slicked back up into a ponytail moment, which revealed into a bodysuit. I find it interesting that the main costumes were exact same thing, but then when they revealed into the bodysuit, it was the same colours in different patterns. I think that was smart because it added a level of concept and thought behind it. It wasn't just, oh, we're the same person. So that was nice. I liked it. It's a lot better than the editing had pre-made it out to be, but it was nice. It was very good. Good, strong family resemblance. Elektra and Re-Reaction. I mean, I could do the names. They're not great names, but it's fine. These sort of space princess warriors. It was very kind of, I don't want to say Juno Birch-ish just because it's colourful face, but there was that element of like space to it. Genuinely did like it though. It was quite interesting. It was a new take on it. It brings out, I think, Elektra's more creative side. Maybe that's what the route she kind of has to go down to fully succeed in drag, because maybe she's not really invested in doing pretty drag. But this was good, and that they were walking around, I was like, who was who? At a quick glance, you couldn't figure out who was Elektra and who was Ree. You really had to kind of zone in and find who was Elektra. I thought that was quite nice. I think the makeup was that bad according to the judges, but anyways. Then we have Maxi Shield and Silhouette. Great name. Great pun. Fun. We're all over pun names, but this was quite nice on the runway just to hear. Very much so Cosmo and Wanda Jellyfish. It was bags. It was bags. It was like burlap sacks with like holiday turbans you'd buy in penny for like €4. I didn't enjoy it. I don't think anyone could. Like, what was the point of making this person shave off their beard if you were not going to do wigs? Like, part of the fun for me in drag is wearing the wig. It's a whole, like, once you put it on, you're like, oh, okay, now it's all came together. But like, why make this poor person shave and then have no wig? They're basically walking out there just as a full face of makeup. They're an influencer. It was a disservice to the both of them. Like, I don't mind if Maxi hadn't worn a wig, but give the other person a wig. Just to kind of, I know it's family resemblance, but separate them out. Kind of, just having a colour difference is not enough, I didn't think. Following Maxi was Art and Craft Simone. It was kind of like a 60s Playboy's Bunny fantasy if they were like in Malibu, that kind of mod, fashion kind of way. It was nice, it just didn't excite me. The judges said that it wasn't a great family resemblance. I mean, it's makeup. I mean, how was it not a family resemblance? Was it just the colours? It was fine. I'm not particularly drawn to pretty drag for the sake of pretty drag. So from that, I was kind of like, yeah, it's fine, but it wasn't my strongest of the moment. Following Art was Scarlet and Sapphire. The blue and red bodysuits were nice. They were fine. Again, the same problem as Art and Craft. It was pretty drag. I mean, props for making the bodysuit, and it was smart to align the colours with the names. But obviously it was a critique that Scarlet only knows how to do Scarlet, and on someone else's face it didn't translate as well. This rugby player was a man, a stunning man who I would get on top of, no bother. But Scarlet's face, I think, relies on being 22 or 21, whatever fucking age she is, whatever keeps racist skin young. It was a fine transformation. Do I want to say pushed it? I mean, it was fine. It was fine. It wasn't terrible, but now they're in like the top 6. It became terrible because of the top 6. Does that make sense? But once again, it was fine. Then, following this, we have Karen from Finance and Debbie from Reception, gas name. Debbie from Reception, gas name. They came out in this like, it was like a mint pastel green, but like if Wallace came from the 60s or 70s. It was, Carbon Copy was correct in saying that, but again, it was camp, but it was very aged. Like, Karen has a problem modernising her drag, I think, because it is camp. I think she heavily leans into the 60s aesthetic, which is fine, but on Drag Race, we know versatility is king, and she's not really changing that up. So, if it had been something new, like pretty model drag, it would have been great for her, where it hadn't been great for Art or Scarlett. It was too similar. There was too much of a resemblance. It was pretty much like, oh, I'm going to do this fast on both because I know how to do it once, so I'll do it twice. Once again, it was fine. Camp. If Karen doesn't get out of this box, Karen is in trouble, considering she hasn't also gotten a main challenge win as of yet. Last but not least is no one, because that was the last of them and I can't read. From this runway, I think it's becoming very apparent that the strong contenders are strong and the weak contenders are weak. So it was very apparent Maxi was in the bottom two. Who was going to be with her now? There could have been a choice of, I think, in my own personal opinion, it could have been Karen. Would I put anyone else there? I don't think so, actually. I think maybe it was just Karen and Maxi, because everyone else did something slightly different. I didn't particularly enjoy Scarlett, but at least it was there. And the work was put in. So I think I would put Maxi and Karen. But then as we get to the decision making, Keita ends up winning a $2,500 gift card. That's it. And so does Feda. $1,500 to nowhere. We don't hear it. And then Scarlett and Maxi are in the bottom two. Now, if the producers were clever here, they really could have put Scarlett and Elektra together and really got a conclusion to that argument the producers are building up between the two of them. But I don't think it would have been great for the viewers to lose two strong contenders. People do like Scarlett for the fashion and the pretty drag. I personally like Elektra. I can see that growth. It's nice. I want to see where that goes. But it was Scarlett and Maxi in the bottom two, and they lip sync to Kylie Minogue's Better the Devil You Know. I don't think I knew Kylie sung this, but once I heard it, I was like, good. But can someone please make me understand why we did Danny last week, Kylie this week, yet the two of them were on episodes ago? It doesn't make sense. Make it make sense. What's not clicking? It was like the songs were getting better, but why use these songs towards the end when we want to hear them as the person's there? Like, even give us Lord, give us Choice One. I know they're expensive, but like, they have the money to do this. But the lip sync, I think Maxi said she was going to fight, but from what we've seen, it was kind of, she was stuck without a gimmick. I think she must have been terrified of going against Scarlett, but even then I wasn't exactly wowed by Scarlett. It felt a bit wooden. Like she has like 10 moves in the wheelhouse and was using them all. Like, maybe she thought that she didn't have to fight as hard because it was Maxi and therefore didn't give it her all. But I think that puts her at a disadvantage because we've seen an Elektra lip sync, and Elektra, for my own opinion now, I think is better than Scarlett in a lip sync. So it'll be interesting to see if the two of them do end up fighting it out. But even like halfway through the lip sync, I was like, oh, I think Scarlett has won this. And lo and behold, she did. So then Maxi sashays away and she says, I'm thick, I'm sexy, I'm confident, something to that effect, and I'm 46 years old. I think that's what we needed. She's an older than the other girls queen, but she still has a youngness to her, like a vivaciousness to her. And I'm sad to see her go. She was a great contestant on Drag Race. She'd be even better now with, I think, All Stars money. That would really suit her down to the ground. So I'm looking forward to seeing her on that if there is an international season where Down Under is included. And then we have the top five, which is Keita, Scarlett, Keita, Scarlett, Electra, Karen, and Electra. I said that, why can I not get this? But I found it quite Art's one, that's who it was. Quite interesting that at the last 5, the 2 girls on the left were Keita and Art, which are strong contenders, and on the right hand side you had Scarlett, Electra, and Karen, and you can almost tell someone on the right is going home soon. I just find that interesting. So then next week will be interesting because that's the final decider before we get to the top 4, which wraps up a very kind of short, kind of sweet season. I think the second half is a lot better than the first half now that we know the queens. But yes, this one was very, very quick because I obviously had no one to go back and forth with, and I had to get it out because tomorrow is the new episode. Yay! But next week we will have a guest. But I couldn't waste this makeup at the same time. I mean, soft for me. But if you've made it this far, thank you so much. Where can people find you? Oh my god, you can find me on Where You Find This, which is my Instagram page or YouTube. Yay! Thank you so much for watching, and next week hopefully we will have a guest here. Bonsoir.